Hello, welcome to the Sound of Science, the place where we deconstruct unscientific bogus and silly scams. Let's go get them. Hello, you wonderful stardust. Today, I want to show you an example of a Christian caller in the Atheist Experience who exposes his own script. Sweet mother of Gandalf, what a complete idiot. Now, you might know that some of the hosts of the Atheist Experience sometimes accuse people who call into their show of using scripts. Matt Dillahunty, for example, has called out many people for that numerous times. What does that mean? Using a script? Well, it means that callers of a call-in show, they do not call in order to have an actual conversation. They're not looking for an exchange of ideas, but instead they have a script lying right in front of them, and they read from that script during the phone call. Now, there are these chat groups in which Christians are recruited and provided with scripts, and then they are asked to call into shows like the Atheist Experience. There are videos on YouTube exposing these chat groups. I'm not telling you that the specific caller we're dealing with today got his script through such a chat group. I'm just pointing out that these chat groups exist. The purpose of using such a script during a phone call will be to hijack as much screen time as possible and fill that screen time with the usual nonsensical Christian apologist preaching. And the ultimate goal, of course, would be to create a gotcha moment in which the atheist would be out of words. Of course, most of the time, these callers using a script, they fail miserably. Experienced hosts of the Atheist Experience, they smell a script from a mile away, and most of these scripts contain exotically stupid reasoning, which can be debunked in a matter of minutes most of the time. Now, I want to show you some clips from the Atheist Experience from November 13th, 2022, hosted by Jim Barrows and Forrest. In this clip, we can hear a Christian caller who is, I really can't say it in another way, he is so stupid that he blows his own cover and he exposes that he is reading his supposed arguments from a script. It's hilarious. Listen to this.
So we've got line number 20 is Emmanuel, pronouns are he, him, from Texas, wants to talk about why we can't actually see God. And I believe it says that you are also a theist, Emmanuel. How are you doing today?
Always interesting to see this intro. There are two hosts with two different characters and two different approaches. Forrest is extrovert, engaging and jovial, but keep an eye on Jim. He listens, he thinks, and then he strikes a blow. A bit similar to the style of Don Baker, who always added a pleasant smile to the mix. But Jim is a bit more on his guard, and he often strikes earlier than the other hosts do. If Jim spots the bait, then it's lost, as we will see shortly.
How are you doing today?
Hi.
Awesome. So you are a theist and you want to talk about why we can't actually see God. Would you mind elaborating on that, please?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of shows on the Atheist Experience.
Now, watch Jim. Forrest is still smiling and going about his way. But Jim is already elaborating on what kind of guy he's dealing with. Look at the facial expression of Jim. I think he already suspects that this caller is fake and is using a script. Even in the first few seconds, this caller behaves suspiciously. He is talking very slowly, as if he has trouble reading and speaking at the same time.
That, we should maybe consider that there is a God, but he's not literally interested in us. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Then why worship him?
What?
Then why worship him?
This is a pivotal moment. This is where Jim is way ahead of the caller and even way ahead of Forrest. The caller suggests that perhaps we should consider the existence of a God who's not really interested in us. Forrest is like, okay, go on, but Jim already spotted the weak point in the reasoning of this caller, because if this God is not interested in us, then why would you worship such a God? And the response of the caller is priceless. Let's repeat this.
Know what I'm saying?
Then why worship him?
What?
The caller can only say, what? And at that moment, Jim probably knows for sure that this guy is reading from a script. This guy is totally unprepared for a real conversation. He had not expected a critical question at this point of his script. That is so often so hilarious. These Christian apologist script callers, they think that their script is rock solid, so they don't bother to prepare or think about stuff in advance. Indeed, Jim, if this God is not interested in us, then why would you worship him? That is so razor sharp. An entity with godlike powers who is not interested in us, that's a liability. This God can damage or destroy what is important to us, but he will never bother to help us out in any way. So why worship him? And now that this guy is blown from his script, he needs to come up with stuff that is not in his script, and that will make it even worse. Listen to this.
Because of judgment.
If he's not interested in us, why is he judging us?
This is such a slam dunk by Jim, and I think this caller doesn't have the capacities to fully appreciate the mess he got himself into in just a matter of seconds. So let us recap this. Well, imagine there's a God who's not interested in us. If he is not interested in us, then why should we worship him? Well, because he will judge us. If he is not interested in us, then why would he judge us? There is so much going on here. Look at the very subtle nod that Forrest makes. By now he only observes, and he lets Jim destroy the script of this caller. And look at Jim going with his hand through his hair, totally self-confident, knowing that the end is very near now. This is both intellectual and comedy gold. And believe it or not, this is going to get even worse. You need to hear what this caller is going to say next, really.
Oh, by the way, okay, you know what kind of you have to ask me first, what kind of faith.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm not following your script. If he's not interested in us, why is he judging us?
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. What an idiot. You have to ask me first. Never before have I seen a script caller blow his own cover so foolishly. You have to ask me first. And again, look at the facial expression of Forrest, who is totally amused and also impressed by his totally brilliant co-host Jim Barrows. Now this call goes on much longer, but basically after this total embarrassment, it doesn't really matter what this caller has got to say. Like so many before him, he uses a script, and this time the script already exploded in his face at step number 1. Amazing. So this is what I wanted to talk about today. A Christian caller at the Atheist Experience, using a script and admitting it, blowing his own cover. This is pure entertainment. What a fool. It's priceless. But now that you're here, please consider to subscribe to my channel. That way you'll help me to make more videos like these and spread the sound of science.